Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you all are doing great. Let us get continued with our chapter, Safe Handling of the Water. Okay, and let us learn some more things. So until our last class, we have learned about how to do different types of filtrations, correct? So today we are going to learn few more facts about water. Why should we avoid stagnation of waters and how should we do it? All these kinds of informations. Okay, so let us start with need to avoid stagnation of water. Now, when I say stagnation, what do I mean? I mean to say stagnation means it is standing water. See, whenever you pour some water or you just spill some water here and there, the water is keeping on standing. Plus, after rainfall or something, you'll have some broken containers, right? Broken containers here and there. They'll have water inside that. Plus, we have some drainage systems, right? Whenever we have overflowing of water, the water stagnates, the water keeps standing over there, right? So it is not absorbed by the ground because of the what do you say, cement roads or some other, because it is either in the containers, all those kind of things. So what happens over there, the standing water gets accumulated with lots of dust and dirt. And what does a dust and dirt and a dirty water attract? Does it attract you people? No, it attracts lots of germs, right? It attracts lots of flies, mosquitoes, mostly mosquitoes. So these waters are help to breed lots of mosquitoes. When I say breeding means it allows, it helps them. It is a good thing. See, the bad things for us is a good things for the insects, right? So those standing water, those stagnation water attract lots of mosquitoes. And if imagine those water, stagnated water is surrounded around your house, then you'll have lots of mosquitoes, correct? Just like this. See, when you have lots of, so this dirty and stagnated water is major cause of diseases. Yes, there are lots of flies and mosquitoes and many other like disease causing insects, and they definitely enter our houses. Mosquitoes bites, flies sit on our food, and everywhere it is dirt, small flies also sit on the food, and if you consume those foods you'll get fall sick. Correct. As I said, such dirty water, stagnated water, are the breeding place for most of the mosquitoes. And you're very well aware that what happens if we have lots of mosquitoes in and around. Mosquitoes are famous for biting us and they spread diseases. So, what kind of a diseases mosquitoes spread? They spread malaria, dengue, chikungunya, correct? So we all need to take care that water is not allowed to stagnate in and around us. It could be in and around a broken container around our houses, or maybe on the ground also, on the roadside also. So you should never allow, if you see any stagnated water, you just broom it off. Mosquitoes, just like that, you can see here, see on your screens, it's like in an open bucket. Mostly in gardens we over, like when there's rainy season, we over water it. The stagnated waters are under our pots, right? Plant pots are there. We just forget some buckets and everywhere here and there. So these types of containers, they have the stagnated water, which should be, the water should be removed from there, because otherwise it will attract lots of mosquitoes and other insects, harmful disease causing insects, right? So what are we supposed to do? We are supposed to change the water, as I said, either remove the dirty water, wipe it off, spoon it off, or spill it off somewhere else where it gets absorbed. Now, when it comes to our houses, see, we also have, when we overwater some plant, you have a plant pot, right? Below that pot, you have a plate which accumulates with all the extra excess water for the plants. So, what are we supposed to do for that? We have to keep changing those water regularly. Yes, so that it does not attract the insects. Also, one of the major part in our house which has stagnated water is our air coolers. You all are aware that we have to fill water in the air cooler. How many of you do regular change the water? Mostly not, right? We keep refilling the water, but if there is any excess water which we have not used for few days, we forget to change it, or we forget to empty the coolers. What are we supposed to do? We have to change the water cooler water regularly, at least once in 3 4 days. Okay. And if you're not able to change the water from the water cooler, one small tip it is, yes, take 2 spoons of kerosene oil. Take 2 spoons of kerosene oil and put it in the water of the air cooler. So this kerosene oil will keep the mosquitoes away. Okay, not don't start pouring lots of kerosene. I'm just talking about 2 spoons of kerosene oil. Okay. Now, how should we take care? So this is we spoke about stagnated water. How should we safe handle the water, the stored water for our consumptions? Firstly, see, we all are aware that early days and now also most of our houses, we always say that the water in the earthen pot, that mud pot, which you get in the markets. So it is very good because the dirt and dust gets settled down. Yes, that is the most best habit to store the water. So people are often seen storing water in the earthen pots, those mud pots, right? And also the containers made of copper, brass, right? And steels. We all use such containers to store our water. And you also have seen many people storing water in plastic containers. Nowadays, we are getting lots of mineral waters in the plastic containers. Also, we store in the plastic pots also, right? Plastic pots, plastic bottles, plastic buckets. And also we store water in the pots or the containers made out of aluminium, made out of steels also. So what are we supposed to do? Proper storage has to be done for these water, and safe handling of the purified water is utmost important. Why it is important? To keep the germs away. Why do we store? See, always you might have seen in your mother doing. So whenever she stores water in any of the pot or container, she washes it first. She washes it first. She clean, dries it so that there is no dirt or germs in the pot, and then she pours the water in that, right? And let us see some ways of proper storage and of the water. Firstly, water should always be stored in clean and covered container. If imagine you're just putting the water in a container, and if the container is already dirty, there might be the germs which are not visible for our naked eyes. So that's why every time you pour your water in any of the container, make sure that you first wash the container, clean it, wipe it neatly, and then pour into it. Then only the water is clean. If at all you just take a container which is not cleaned, which is not washed, and it already has some germs in it, even though you're even though you're pouring a mineral water into that particular container, it gets contaminated, right? How? Because the dirt which is already present in the pot is mixed in the water. And what is the use? That's why it's always been told that water should be stored in clean and covered container. If you put the water in the container and leave the container open, don't you think flies will come and sit in on it? Yes, and the dirts and germs and the dust particles which is present in the air, don't you think it goes and settles into that? An example for you children, just take one glass of water. Okay, just take one glass of water and keep it in your kitchen or in any of the room and leave it for the whole day. Okay, morning you keep it, and the evening when you go and see the glass of water, you'll have one layer formed on the top of the water, and that is the dust particle which gets accumulated. That's why you should always put the water in the clean pots, plus keep it covered. You should never dip your hands in water stored for drinking purpose. Never do it. So whenever you're dipping, see what happens is, whenever you have, imagine you have some dirts and dust in your on your hands. Okay, you have not washed your hands properly. We keep touching here and there. So when you put your hands on, we usually don't do it in the glasses, but if your parents have stored the water in a pot, you want to take a water from the pot, right? What do we generally do? We'll take a glass and we put it in the pot. With the glass, even our fingers get dipped inside the water. Yes or no? So the germs and dust which is present on our fingers or in our hands get mixed in the water. Now, do you think the water is still clean? No, right? So we should never dip our hands in the stored water, which is used for, especially for drinking purposes. So what do we do if we do not dip our hands? Use a ladle or some other clean utensil to take out the water from the container. When you're trying to dip it your glass inside that, make sure that glass is clean firstly, and dip the glass in such a way that your fingers are not getting dipped. And safer side, use a ladle over here. You can see on your screens the ladle which is kept on this pot. So use such kind of ladles to take out the water. So here what happens, you're holding it at the end, you're not dipping your hands. So these things you can actually do it. Plus, one for sure thing is, we generally go out and buy water bottles. We don't see the date when it is stored. So we should not drink the water which has been stored for many days. Okay, because water inside any container stored for many days obviously starts attracting, what do you say, internal germs. Okay, so you should never, even in the houses also, maybe you have put it in a big barrels, drums and pots, lots of water stored for days together. The germs presence inside the water gets double in quantity. So that's the reason it is always good to drink water which is freshly filtered and consumed within few days itself. This was all about your safe handling of the water. I hope you have enjoyed and I hope you have learned the importance of water and the importance of drinking the filtered water. And this is not just a lesson, children. You're supposed to apply these particular learnings in your day-to-day life. Whenever you see anybody not taking care of the water in their house properly and drinking filthy water, and people are not having filter at home, how are they supposed to switch to the traditional filters? And plus, how should they take care of the water? And if you see any stagnated water in and around, make sure it is cleaned immediately, so as to avoid any kind of disease, prevailing insects to surround our houses. So take this learning, apply in your day-to-day life, and have a healthy life.